joins other countries to celebrate International Day of Peace. Speaker House of Representatives hailed First Lady Oluremi Tinubu at 63. Also, Stakeholders Forum on Anti-Kidnapping, Land Grabbing and Cultism advocates special courts for offenders. Good evening, welcome to NTA Ijebode News at 7. I'm Moroluwa Egona, and here are the details of the news. As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark International Day of Peace, the need for individuals' actions to achieve world peace has been emphasized by stakeholders in peace and conflict resolution. Anthony Gadonu takes a look at the theme of this year's celebration, Actions for the Global Goals.
21 is International Day of Peace as established by the United Nations General Assembly, a day set aside to promote peace within communities, strengthening the dues of peace and fostering a culture of non-violence and ceasefire across the globe. The day also provides platform for people and communities to contribute towards developing a peaceful society for all. The State Commandant, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, David Ojelabi, and his Nigeria Peace Corps counterparts emphasized on the need for collaborative efforts by individuals and groups to attain world peace.
Peace to exist, all our hands must be on deck. We must realize that no one individual, just like no any nation, no any single agency can do it on its own. We need to join hands together, perform your bit, I perform my part. By the time we put them together, it becomes the whole we are expecting.
Today is set aside for International Peace Day. We all should crave for peace and we should learn to tolerate peace in whatever we do. And for all, we should see it as a day that is set aside for us to focus in harmony and for us to live together in peace.
The Security and Peace Corps experts also spoke on the theme of this year's celebration.
You have been expected to perform in a particular given society as your own action. Like in Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, we have various units and departments that are into prevention of conflicts among ourselves and in the nation as a whole. Not only that, we have it to resolve conflicts using the alternative dispute resolution for people. We have that department in all the states of the Federation, and we have it in Ogun State as well.
The theme for this year is action for peace and ambition for global goal. You understand that when you say action for peace, it's a day set aside that everybody, individually and collectively, should come together and have creativeness about having peace so that our tomorrow can be better taken care of.
Believing that no alternative to peace, stakeholders suggest a non-violent and harmonious world through collaborative efforts. In Ijebode, Anthony Gadonu, NTA News.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has congratulated the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu on her 63rd birthday, describing her as a mother of the nation and a role model for women. In a congratulatory message through his special advisor on media and publicity, Musa Krishi, Speaker Abbas commends the wife of the president for her exploits in the National Assembly as a senator for 3 terms and as a reliable pillar of support for the president. The speaker is optimistic that the Renewed Hope initiative, the pet project of the First Lady, will impact more lives positively across the country and wishes Ms. Tinubu greater achievements in the years ahead. Stakeholders on anti-land grabbing, kidnapping, cultism, and other related matters have advocated the establishment of special tribunal and security task force to tackle problems associated with land grabbing and other offences in Ogun State. This was at a public hearing organized by Ogun State House of Assembly on a bill for amendment of a law to prohibit entry and occupation of landed properties, armed robbery, kidnapping, and other related matters in Ogun State. Parliamentary correspondent Yemi Dalemo reports.
Take their input on the amendment bill so as to find lasting solutions to the problems of land grabbing, kidnapping, cultism, indecent dressing, and other related offences in Ogun State. The Speaker of the House, Olakunle Oluomo, notes that the amendment will benefit every stakeholder in the state and also stipulate penalty for the offenders.
Let me assure you that the bill will be given accelerated passage in order to ensure safety of lives and properties of our people in the state. It is therefore important to reaffirm the commitment of the State House of Assembly to annex their germane input into the bill for the further legislative procedure.
Stakeholders in their contributions examined the 57 amendments clause by clause and suggested stiffer penalties for offenders, establishment of security task force, as well as special tribunal for quick adjudication on matters of kidnapping, land grabbing, and other related offences as contained in the proposed law.
Punishment given to land grabbers is not enough.
I think they are supposed to be maybe a special tribunal to try them.
The aspect of the joint task force, we will like these amendments to take care to tidy that aspect.
Stay for a special tribunal to try this. If there is, it will be speedy, it will be okay. And go
once we have a good land registration information in the state, some of these problems will be put to rest.
Chairman House Committee on Lands and Housing, Honorable Damilola Shoneye, and the State Legal Advisor, James Maffei, speak on the essence of the amendments.
We receive petitions on land grabbing, forcible entry, kidnapping and cultism on daily basis, and even press release on weekly basis in the Ogun State House of Assembly.
We're going to try to move the base of the executory power from where it exists now to where it will be more implementable.
The bill is expected to pass through the third reading before passage. In Abeokuta, Yemi Talimo, NTA News.
The National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) in Kwara State has organized a workshop to foster and strengthen the relationship between the corps members and their employers. This is towards achieving the set goals of the scheme and bringing the best out of members during the service year. Raliat Ibrahim has the report.
Institutions across the country produce more than 1 million graduates, and for the NYSC, its orientation camps yearly can only accommodate between 300,000 to 350,000 youth corps members. At present, the scheme is faced with the challenge of poor state of orientation camps, inadequate accommodation for corps members, payment of allowances, insecurity of corps members rejection, underutilization of youth corps members by employers, and support for community service development.
The environment of the camp determines significantly the kind of a training and also the impression they form about each state.
These representatives of state governments in charge of youth affairs will be fashioning ways on how to enhance service delivery and better welfare that will make the service year interesting for youth corps members and the scheme. And since the challenge of insecurity continues to stare Nigerians in the face, the NYSC boss says night journey by prospective or youth corps members must be prohibited.
I appeal to the state government to initiate policies in discouraging corps members from night journeys.
The state government pays meal subsidy to NYSC authority at every orientation camp.
Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army is to be transformed into a world-class security force towards achieving its constitutional mandate of protecting territorial integrity of Nigeria within a joint environment. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja re-echoed this at the inaugural seminar of the Nigeria Army Heritage and Future Center, Giri, Abuja.
In view of the dynamic and complex nature of the nation's emerging security challenges, the Nigerian Army established the Heritage and Future Center. This is to enhance its capabilities through analysis of policies and procedures by proposing a novel and pragmatic options through innovations and application of technology to stem security threats.
The center is created as a research hub to address Nigerian Army's specific thematic challenges through studies, analysis, policy formulations that target optimal operational and administrative outcomes for the Nigerian Army. This has become necessary as the center is being positioned to carry out its establishment mandate in support of the Nigerian Army.
The vision of the center, the Chief of Army Staff noted, aligned with his vision of developing the service into a well-equipped and motivated fighting force in a joint environment.
Today, criminal groups across the zones are fast keeping pace with our options, thereby making our efforts of not too significant effect. Therefore, establishments such as the Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center must rise to the occasion by equally turning out options for the Nigerian Army at a pace the bad guys cannot keep up with.
The seminar is focused as translating the Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center from dream to reality. From the Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center in Giri, Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The 2023 flood devastation may be minimized due to the series of training embarked upon by the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, in collaboration with international donor agencies. Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, stated this while declaring open a 3-day training of capacity building for effective mitigation of flood disasters and other crises. Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
The 3-day training of Incident Command System and Emergency Operation is centered on developing a national standardized disaster management and coordination system. The DG NEMA said insecurity, farmers' headers crisis, frequent perennial flooding and the resultant humanitarian outcome have remained the most challenging issues affecting the country in recent times. He says this calls for concerted efforts by stakeholders to adopt best practices in responding effectively to crises and disasters in the country.
The knowledge to be gained from the interactive session exercises with the team practitioners, facilitators, cannot be obtained through reading any book. It is hoped that you bring the knowledge you acquire from this training to bear in your response activities.
USAID team leader Braham Daud said USAID has a line of programs to build capacities of stakeholders in responding effectively to any form of disaster in Nigeria.
So I urge you guys to be open, to use your spinners and your toys. They're game changers.
The training is expected to advance the agency's self-reliance in disaster and incident command system implementation. In Abuja, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
We'll be going on a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The words are hard to find, but they're still heavy on my mind tonight. The pain is deep inside, but I still want to hide. Happy birthday! Herring.
Is this what you really want to do?
Yes, Dad. That's what I've been trying to show you.
Fight for your dreams the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced, the power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
Welcome back. The news continues. What would be your reaction if your fundamental human rights are infringed upon by someone or denied some fundamental human rights? In a modern society where the rule of fist is alien to the law, in spite of the provisions of the law protecting this right, some people are being reported to use the force of arms or position to cheat others despite the existence of the concepts that might is not always right.
Looks like a scene from a movie, but this is no film set. It is one of the many incidents when street gangs in communities across the country disrupt the peace, causing unrest, thereby infringing on the rule of law. From time to time, The media space in Nigeria gets awash with stories of such disturbances described by law enforcement agencies as threats to democratic norms and good governance.
If you look at our country today and you want to do a quick crime map of Nigeria, you'll discover that virtually every geopolitical zone is challenged by acts of criminality.
It is not in dispute that the supreme law guiding the lifestyle of all Nigerians is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As such, its tenets and that of subsidiary laws are expected to regulate public and private behavior, which experts in societal studies say makes those who flout the laws of a country to be liable to sanctions and denial of the advantages enjoyed by other citizens.
If the government should govern by the law, what is provided in our constitution and our statutes, adhere strictly to them, then there will be peace. And on the side of the citizenry, if we adhere to the rule of law, what the law provides for, then we will equally have peace. The level of impunity in Nigeria is unprecedented.
In 2021, the International Rule of Law Index purportedly ranked Nigeria as 121 out of 139 countries on the scale of its obedience to the rule of law. Civil society organizations have traced this to deliberate alleged infractions by those they described as people who misuse positions of privilege or force to achieve their aims. By 2022, however, Nigeria moved up 3 steps on the same index, attributed to deliberate actions by stakeholders in the justice and law enforcement sectors to walk the talk. As proof of Nigeria's readiness to adopt progressive habits used by developed countries to sustain their society, legal experts advocate accountability, openness, and impartiality as necessary tools to stabilize the ship of the Nigerian state. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
That concludes tonight's news. I'm Moroluwa Egona. Have a good night.